Hello learner, my name is Balam Dafauti. I am working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science, Uttarakhand Open University, Haldwani. Today we will discuss about array in Java, creating and declarations of array in Java. We will also discuss string and vectors in Java. So after going through this video lecture, the learner will able to learn about an array in Java, about the declaration of array in Java, creating an array in Java, initialization of array in Java, and about string and vectors in Java. So now first of all I will tell you the basic concept of array in Java. So what are arrays? An array is a finite collection of similar elements stored in adjacent memory locations. By finite means there are specific number of elements in an array, and by similar means all elements in array are of the same type. For example, an array may contain all integer or character, but not both. However, there can be an array of structure where each structure may contain a integer and a character. So basically an array is an object in Java which contain a similar type of data in a contiguous memory locations. Here is the syntax of array in Java. We can write in two ways. First, data types, then square bracket, then variable name. Second, data types, variable name, then square bracket. The square bracket is called subscript operator. Without subscript operator, we cannot create array. For example, suppose we have to declare an integer type of array like integer. Integer is a data type and a is a variable, then subscript operator. The variable a is called a reference variable in Java. As you can see here, we have to declare the syntax. Now first we have to type new. New is a keyword in Java which is used to create an object in Java. Now the object of the array referenced by the reference variable which is a. Here we will have 5 index array where the positions of array will start from 0 to 4. 0 is the base index and 4 is the last index of the array. In this example, between 0 to 4 index of the array, the element of the array is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So in this example, a is a reference variable. It will refer all the indexes of the array. We can directly access any element of the array through the reference variable of the array. Let us understand with the help of example. First we have to create a class which name is demo. Then we have to initialize an array under the main method. Integer array a, then assign the element to the array a. Array a is a reference variable which is referred to the index of the array. Suppose we want to access the element of 40 of the array, we have to assign the index value 3 to the array a. It will print the element 40 because 40 element is located in third position of the array, as you can see in this example. So learner, the next part we are going to start string in Java. So when we are talking about string, we are basically storing the data which is like a lot of character altogether. We can say they are sentences now. So if you want to store a character or a letter or an alphabet, we got character data type, but when it comes to a word or a sentences or a paragraph, there we look into the string. So a string in Java is an object. It represents the sequence of character kind of word or sentences. Then if we talk about string, so it is basically a class which is used to create manipulate the string object. So it is in the java.lang package, so that how we say string is a reference type, not a primitive type. When we create a string, it is immutable in nature. So what is meant by immutability? It means that the data which is once there in the string object cannot be manipulated or changed. So manipulation for the string we cannot change now. If we are talking about Java string, we can process our textual data very easily. So java.lang.string is a class in Java. This class is basically implementing few interfaces like serializable, comparable and char sequence. So when we talk about the class string, it is a final class which cannot inherit. So every class in Java will be the child of object. Either you create or it is in built-in class. So it implements serializable, comparable and char sequence. So let us see these three interfaces will be for string. Now serializable is just a marker interface. So when we talk about marker interface, it will not contain any data member or methods. So it is basically marking the Java classes so that our compiler can come to know about these classes. Now serializable are the ones for whom we can save the state in some files. So there is a concept called serialization and deserialization. So saving the state of an object and recovering the state of an object from a file. Now comparable is basically that if you have a string and if you want order the data in the string, you want to sort and compare. You got some methods available with the help which we can very easily do for that. For example, a method called compare can compare one string with the another string, whether they are equal or not. There we got a char sequence interface because this is a readable sequence of character and this is supposed to provide some read-only access. The other thing is that char sequence is basically present three classes like string, string buffer and string builder. Now string is a class which can create textual content for us, where this is immutable, so we cannot change the data once it is created. So you can even say string they are nothing but their data or their values they are literal and they cannot change. But buffer and string buffer they are again the char sequence which can manipulate the data within. So they are the mutable version of string. Moving ahead in further, buffer and builder they are different in a way that buffer is thread safe whereas builder is not thread safe. So what is thread safety? Thread safety is a synchronization. When a multiple thread they are going to access the same single object, there we need a synchronization, right? So string buffer is built in and it is by default synchronized, but the builder is not synchronized. So that is the difference between buffer and builder. Now we will understand how we can create string in the memory. So string in the memory they are created in an area called string pool. When we are talking about string pool, so Java string pool refer the collection of string which are stored in the heap memory. So in the heap area there would be a string pool which will be created as a string object which are immutable in nature. So the concept of string pool come into the picture. So string pool will help in saving the space for Java runtime. So let us see how string pool is going to work for us and how save the memory for us. Now if you want to create a string, there are two ways. Either you can create it as a literal or we call it an intern string for, or create it with a new keyword we call an object. So let us have a quick look on how create a string and how heap and how the string pool comes into action. So considering we are going to use literal to create a string. So Java string literal is created by just writing the string literal in double quotes. So How you will do it? You say string str is hello, you need to use this double quotes. So when I am saying str is basically a reference variable which is pointing to hello, like this. So in the string pool we got literal called hello, and str will contain the hash code for that literal, and this is how we got a relationship mapping. Now some way when we want to create a new string with the same name, let's say I want to create another string but that will also be hello. So far what happened? So before creating a string literal, first a lookup happens for the value in the string pool. If the same value is already available in the string pool, a new string will not be created. Rather than the reference of that string will be returned. For example, if I write a string str1 is hello, it means that string str is also point to the same string. So literal they are created once they are not created. Same way, when I will say string str2 welcome, now welcome is not there in the string pool. So what will happen? A new string welcome will be created to which str will point. So once again a quick review, string literal we also call them an internal way of creating the string. Internal way of creating a string is where a string literal gets created into the string pool. Once a literal is created, it will not be recreated. So if you said that string str is hello, so we are not going to come up again for the string str1 is hello. So it is going to point the same string literal. For a different string literal will have a different memory region created. So string str2 is welcome will point to a different literal, and hence the string pool. So how it saving the memory by creating literal once. So sharing of literal, because these literal they are the values and they can never ever be modified. So now the another way of creating a string is if you write a new keyword. So whenever you are going to use a new keyword, so it is basically going to create a new object in heap memory. So for an instance, if I say string str3 is a new string is hello, so what will happen? So there will be a new object created in heap memory. So it is like the other object which get read in the memory. So it is always a new object. It is not going to point to the string pool. So this is the reference between how we can create a string literal and how we can create a string object. So the object constructions happens with the new keyword, and it always a new object. So next method is the string method in Java. So now we will see some string method. So we got a string class which is built-in class, and we will be exploring these methods. What are the built-in methods? So first of all, have a look on the list. So first method is boolean equal method. So this method will be check the quality of a string in the given object. Next method is equal ignore case method. This method will be compare another string without matching the case. And the next method is length method, which is returns a string length. And now the next method is char at index, which will return a character at index I, which is 0 to n minus 1. The next method is called uppercase method, which is return the string in uppercase. And the next is the to lowercase method, which return the string in lowercase. And next method is replace method. The replace method is responsible for replace all the occurrence of the specified character values with the given values. And next one is trim method, which is responsible for removes the white spaces from the beginning and ending of a string. And next is contain method, which will be responsible for checks for the matching sequence of character value and returns true and false. And next is to cat array method converts a string to a new character array. And next one is empty method checks whether the string is empty or not. And ends method, which is responsible for checks the string ends with specified suffix. And the last method is concat method, which is responsible for concatenates two strings. So learner, next part we are going to discuss vector class in Java. So earlier we used array. So in array we can only store similar types of data like homogeneous kinds of data. So in array, once we declare the size of the array, we cannot increase and decrease the size of the array. So if you want to store different kinds of data in array, like we want to store heterogeneous kinds of data, so this feature can be achieved through vector. We use vector class in Java for creating such heterogeneous types of data because we insert homogeneous data in array, but sometimes if you want to insert some different types of data, means heterogeneous types of data, we will use vector. So here I am going to explain the definition of vector. So vector is a class in Java which is present in java.util package. So it is used to store object of different types and size in any number. So basically vector class contained in the java.util package. So if you know that Java has lots of packages, so each and every package contain class and methods. So the vector class can be used to create a generic dynamic array known as vector class that can hold object of any type and any number. That means a vector class can be used generic dynamic array, whereas in array we cannot use data elements dynamically. So how we can create a vector? So there are generally two ways to create vectors. The first way, we can define a vector without size. Vector list is the object equal to new vector. New is the keyword which is used to create new object. Then the size, then the vector without size. The default size of vector is 10. So secondly, we can define the vector size, the vector with size. A vector list is equal to new vector, then we can define the vector size 3. So generally there are two ways for creating a vector. So now let us talk about vector method. So I have mentioned few of them. First one is list.addElement. So this method describes we can add item at the end of the list. Next is list.element at 10. So this method show how the 10th element of the list. Next is the list.size. It will show the number of objects present in the list. And next one is list.remove element. So this method is remove the specified item from the list. And next one is list.remove all items. So this means that this method remove all elements present in the list. And next one is list.copy into array. So this means that this method copy all items from list to array. So these are the method of vector which will be used in program. So now I am going to show some program in vector. So let us understand with the help of example. So import java.util.star. So as you know that the Java, the vector class contained in the java.util package. So we can create a class class in Java class vector example. So public static void main, as you know that here we can define a vector, we can create a vector list is equal to new vector. The list dot add element ram. Here we use different methods which is used to add element at the last of the vector. So here ram is a value. We define ram in double quotes, which is a string. As we know that string is also a object in Java class. Then similarly we can add another element Shyam and Sita. Then finally we are going to print the list, and the output will be of the program is Ram, Shyam and Sita. So learner, that's it for today. Thank you very much.